Hi guys, I'm Rick. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making hearty beef stew on my Ninja 3-in-1 multi-cooker. Alright, I'm starting out here with my Ninja. I have it preheating on stovetop high. I'm going to dump some olive oil in here. About 2 tablespoons worth. And I have a 1.5 pound bottom round roast that I cut into beef cubes, left warm up to room temperature with a little seasoning salt on them. And if you don't have seasoning salt, just use a little table salt, but don't go too heavy on it. Now I'm going to get this into the Ninja and get this browning up. And I'm not going to dredge it in any flour. We'll be thickening up our stew later, and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to go ahead and fry this for a few minutes till it's nice and brown, and then I'll be back. Right now that my beef is halfway browned, and the reason I bought a beef roast and cut it up rather than buying a pre-cut beef cubes is because it's cheaper to cut it yourself. You can pick the cut of meat that you want, because usually you get the pre-cut beef cubes. There's a lot of fat in them, and it's a tougher cut of meat. But I mean, if you want the convenience, then go ahead and get the pre-cut meat. But it's not much trouble to cut it up yourself. Okay, now that this is halfway fried, I'm going to throw in 1 medium onion that I diced up. And the excess juice that the beef rendered off, I tilted the Ninja and I took a spoon and I pulled that out of there, because it'll take longer for your beef to brown if you have that juice in there. I'm also going to add some pepper in here, and I'm not putting any salt in right now because that meat tenderizer I used had salt in it. And I'm going to be putting some onion soup mix in here that has salt in it. So I'm going to let this fry for a few more minutes, let those onions start to get translucent, and let the beef brown up a little more. Alright, now that my onions and beef cooked for a little while, I have a clove of garlic here that I minced up fine. I'm going to add that in there. And I only put 1 clove in there because you want it to have a hint of garlic, but you don't want it to be overpowering with garlic flavor. And now I'm going to add in 1 pack of onion soup mix. Stir that around quick, coating the beef with it. Okay, now I have 2 4-cup boxes of beef broth, so I'm going to put in 8 cups of beef broth total. And like I said before, I cut a hole in the top here so it runs out nice and smooth. And my one viewer, Sandra, over at Tasados 4, noticed that. She mentioned it in her video. I'll put a link to her channel in the description bar, guys. Check her out because she's got a lot of good recipes on there. Her son also has some gaming stuff on there, but if you're not into that, don't even worry about looking at that. But check out her recipes because, like I said, she has some good ones. Right now that I have the 2 boxes of beef broth, the 8 cups in there, and some cooking sherry here. You could also use red wine, cooking wine or red wine. This has salt in it too. That's why I'm waiting until later to add salt if I need it. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of this. And what that does, that really rounds out a beef dish, brings the flavors together and just makes it complete. Alright, now I have some cumin here. I'm going to add some ground cumin in. I'm going to add about a teaspoon in. I'm also going to add in some thyme. About a teaspoon of that. And I'm going to add in some Worcestershire sauce. About 2 tablespoons or so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my lid on this, bring this up to a boil, and then I'm going to cut it back to stovetop medium, because my Ninja has stovetop low, medium, and high. And if it's not cooking good enough on medium, I'll put it back up on high. I'm going to let this cook for a half hour to get that beef tenderized in there, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, what I did is I switched just from stovetop high to the oven setting at 350 because it just wasn't getting there on stovetop alone. I brought up to a rapid boil and I reduced it down to 250 on the oven setting. I'll have to go for a half hour. And I also added in a teaspoon of celery seed. I forgot to put that in, and I added in a teaspoon of salt. I tasted it. Now I have 2, these are 12-ounce bags of peas and carrots, but there's only a quarter of a bag and there are 2 of them. So I'm going to add them in there. That'll equal a half a bag of peas and carrots. And these are frozen, but they'll thaw quick. And I'm going to turn this back up to 400 on the oven setting. That way we get this heated back up quick. And I also have 6 petite red skin potatoes that I diced up. I left the skins on them. I'm going to go ahead and add them down in there. Let's do it this way here. Give this a stir. Then I tasted it, like I said, for the salt and all the other spices, and it tasted good, although I need a little bit of salt. Now I'm going to bring this back up to a boil. Alright, this came up to a boil and I gave it 5 minutes. Now I made a flour water slurry I'm going to stir in here to thicken this up. Like I said, I don't know if I said before, I gave it 5 minutes to cook the vegetables a while. And I'm going to give it 10 more minutes uncovered with this flour water slurry in here to thicken it up. And that'll help finish cooking the vegetables because they're not quite done. The potatoes are still a little, have a little bit of bite to them. So I'm going to cook this uncovered now. We'll see how it does. If it doesn't boil good, I'll have to cover it back up for a while. But we're going to cook it for 10 more minutes. Finish cooking those vegetables and let this stew tighten up. Okay, this went for the 10 minutes uncovered, and my potatoes just weren't as tender as I would like them, so I give it 5 more minutes. So it's cooked for a total of 45 minutes. A half hour for the beef to cook, and another 15 minutes for the vegetables and the gravy to thicken. I'm going to finish this by adding a little bit of dry parsley, and it's mostly just for color, about a teaspoon. And as you can see, my stew thickened up nice here. So let's go ahead and fix up a bowl and see what we got. Alright, there you have it. Hearty beef stew in a Ninja 3-in-1 cooking system. Give this a try. I think you'll like it. Until next time, I'll see ya.